Well, hello there. Be happy. How's your day going? Well, mine is going really great because I get to tell you about a brand new book that I just finished reading. Did you know that 92% of New Year's resolutions fail? That's good information to be aware of, don't you think? January is right around the corner. We're coming into Thanksgiving, Christmas, and it'll be here before you know it. Well, Jon Acuff wrote Finish. And I had to get the book as soon as I met him and found him, and I saw this book, I said, that is a book for me. I apparently am not the only one. I actually do fall within that 92% of folks who make a whole bunch of goals and have a problem, a struggle, completing some of them. You know, it's not that I'm not a hard worker, and you could be in my shoes as well. We work hard. We are achievers. We get stuff done. There are things we do complete. Matter of fact, we're the person most of our friends know to call if they want help with something. On the job, our bosses know that when they give us something to do, we complete it to the best of our ability. So then, what's the problem? Why can't that be transferred to our personal goals or dreams or ambitions? Good question. That's why I got the book. So I love what he says. He's like, you probably have a better shot at getting into Juilliard to become a ballerina than you do at finishing your goals. So anyways, for years he struggled with that problem of not completing his goals, and he writes about it. And I just want to share, I fold the pages. Give Yourself the Gift of Done is his book title. Finish, Give Yourself the Gift of Done. And I've been working on heart projects, creative works, book projects of the heart for years, developing my website ever so slowly, and learning how to do videos such as this ever so slowly. I'm showing up. It's not perfect, and it won't be perfect, but my goal is to be excellent. My goal is to learn every day a little something more I didn't know yesterday, and to get better at what I'm doing. So the reason I do these videos is I love reading, you guys. I get so excited learning. I'm one of those geeks. New information, new knowledge. I love meeting people. I am a storyteller, which means I'm a story gatherer. I love to teach and share, and I love to be inspired. And so I read like crazy, and I love to experience new things in this world so that I can share about it, talk about it with other people. So I want to learn how to do videos like this, and I had a vision of doing book talk. That's what I call this segment, book talk. Because reading great books is great for me, all fine and dandy. I got piles in my house that I've read and piles yet to read. But I want to take it beyond myself. You know, we live in a greater world, and we're meant to help others. And I want to pass on what I read because you know what? Not all of us love reading. And we don't have to. I am not great at mechanical things and technology things. I'm learning on the technology side ever so slowly, baby steps. But we need each other. We're to do what we're gifted in. We're to do our strengths, man. And then we're to ask someone else to help us with our weakness, to help us in the area we don't know, we're not good at. So I want to read for everyone else. I want to pass on all these great authors and what they're sharing. You know, we all can't travel every little area in this world. I'd like to. Traveling's on my list. But we all can't learn every single thing every day. That's why books and writers, you know, they have a purpose. So I want to pass on great people I get to meet via books and or in person. For now, they're books. I have had the pleasure of meeting some authors, which I've shared with you in the past. And speaking of that, my husband and I are going to get to meet Jon Acuff. I hope I'm saying that right. It's Acuff or Acuff. And we get to meet him next week. We are actually, is it next? Yeah, next week. Next Thursday. We're actually taking a road trip. My husband's so cool like that. He's such a great mate. Let me tell you, he's definitely was God's gift to me. My second chance prayer answered. I say, honey, we're going on a road trip. He's like, okay, where are we going? And I said, we're going to go meet this author, and I have his book, and I want to go meet him and listen to him talk. So we are driving to Orlando, which is almost 2 hours, or hour and a half, 2 hours away from us, and we're going to drive back that same day. So That's what a great husband, a guy I married, is. And we like to do spontaneous things like that because we're all about learning, living large, and experiencing all that God has created for us to do. But, okay, so to the book. Why? Did it help me? Well, you know, it did. It encouraged me. Number one, I'm not alone. I'm not alone in showing up and trying to get something done, and it seems to take forever, or having a lot of projects just sit there and stare at me and call me ever so slowly on the heart every time I go look at it or think about it. But I'm not alone. He shares that. And so I'm encouraged to know that. And he talks about perfectionism. And then, of course, that spoke to me right away. And you know what that perfectionism does? It blocks us. It stops us because we don't want to fail. We don't want to do it wrong. Heaven forbid it's not going to be perfect, so then it sits there. It overwhelms us. And so then nothing gets done. Golly, it took me so many years just to talk about doing a website because of that perfectionist tendency in myself. And it is affecting my book projects. I'm just don't know how to maneuver the material sometimes, or manipulate the words, or move the words around. But he talks about it, and so right away I was just reminded, you know what, it's okay. It's not about being perfect. It's just being excellent, just doing your best. So he talks about that, the perfectionism thing. And I love how he says on page 13, moving forward imperfectly. Embrace it. You know, once we face it and say it out loud, that we have a tendency for perfectionist to take hold of us, it loses its power over us immediately. Because guess what? I'm moving forward in this project or towards that goal imperfectly. And that's how it goes. And guess what happens? We're moving forward. We're going to get that project done. That goal is going to be achieved. So I love that. And we get to try every day, you know? I love it. He talks about those, he says, those are the doors we stand before in this book and in our lives. One is marked finished and leads to untold adventures, opportunities, and stories. One is marked perfectionism and leads to a solid brick wall of frustration, shame, and incomplete hopes. No kidding. I can attest to that myself, and I know a lot of you probably can as well. I can't tell you how many times I've cried because things weren't happening. I was completing so many other things over here or someone else's goals, but my dreams were sitting. My dreams weren't really moving. And that's why. Perfectionism. It's definitely a brick wall of frustration and shame. Shame that I've been talking about some things and they're just slowly getting touched and accomplished. Not accomplished. Worked on. So I loved what he said about that. And I've got another page bent here. And perfectionism also messes us up by aiming too high. Oh my gosh, isn't that the truth? You know, we create a goal, he says, we aim for something better, that is good in itself. You know, we want to feel better, be better, healthier, and do more things. But then better turns into best, you know. We don't want small growth, we want massive overnight success. And where's that going to lead? You know, he talks about who wants to run a 5K when you can run a marathon? Who wants to write the outline for a book when you can write a 3-part trilogy? Oh, isn't that... So yes, I have been guilty of that, of having these grand visions and expecting those visions for me to sit down and implement or create those visions overnight. I've been learning through hard work and struggle, hindsight's 2022, that it's the little touches and it's consistency that works in the end. And it's definitely not this perfectionistic view here. You know, baby steps. I like that. A little bit at a time and doing it imperfectly. Showing up and working on it imperfectly. You know, he talks about cutting your goal in half. Now, at first, and he expected this from readers, at first we're like, why would we cut a goal in half? The point is to achieve great things and do big things. Yes, that's the point. If you cut your goal in half, you have a lot more behind you. a lot more chances that you're going to achieve what you set out to do. So I read through that chapter, and that really spoke to me. So, you know, if your goal is to lose 10 pounds and you lost only 8, you would have failed by only 2 pounds. You know, most of us believe that old adage, shoot for the moon. Even if you'll miss, you'll land among the stars. That's what he writes. So that hit me right away, because losing weight's my other big goal. Writing goals and weight goals. So those are tied together. And I really took this to heart, and I'm going to put it into action. So instead of this giant goal of needing to lose 70 pounds or 100 or 60 or 50, whatever it is, how about that first 5? Or heck, that first 2 pounds for that first week. So I'm taking this to heart, and I'm going to give myself a break. And I encourage you guys, give yourself a break as well. You know, do your best. So cut your goal in half, and then work from there. You know, and then the now or never. Oh my gosh, he talks about that too on page 27. I struggle with that too, the all in, all or nothing mentality. If I ate something maybe that wasn't the best for me and I blew my calories or whatever for the day, oh, let's just go crazy the rest of the day, and then that goes into a month or a year or what have you. No. Same with goals. I miss writing day today. That doesn't mean I have to miss it tomorrow. So, you know, I love that. You know, he talks about when you're fighting a foe, there are 2 approaches. Defense and offense. Defense is coming up with a plan for when you're attacked, and offense is attacking first. So, he talks about, you know, you got to prepare for that day after perfect. You know, that first day you set out to do something usually goes pretty well. Or that first hour. What comes next? That's what you have to think of. So you have to think of what comes next after you cut that goal in half. What are you going to do next? You know, he says, ask yourself the question, what's the worst that could happen? And he says, yeah, all right, you cut your goal in half. You know, he talks about cleaning a house this way. Say if you take that goal of cleaning your entire house, you cut it in half and you clean just 2 rooms. Okay, for years you've hated how your house is, and the idea of doing only 2 rooms doesn't seem like enough. Well, what's interesting about this moment is that perfectionism will now tell you that you could do it quickly. Do you see how often it changes tactics depending on our situation, he asks us? It's true. It's true. So, he also provides action steps at the end of every chapter. So this is a book to read through maybe a couple times. First, just to get the material like I did, and then second, to go through and actually work through the action steps. Or take your time and read it 1 chapter at a time and work through the action steps. You know, chapter 3 is choose what to bomb. Attempt more than is humanly possible and fail, and choose what to bomb and succeed at a goal that matters. We got 2 options right now. Those are it. So I like what he said. I like what he said. Choose what to bomb and succeed at a goal that matters. It kind of goes along with his other point of cutting the goal in half. Well, now it's, you know, it's choosing what you want to focus on. Choosing what's important for that moment or that day and focusing on that. Kind of, you know, that's the opposite of what I try to do a lot of times. Don't you try to do everything all at once? Don't you have all of these projects and a giant list of things to do, and it's all got to be touched and all got to be touched? Like to do it, say you got to do your exercise, you got to call so-and-so and visit with someone, you got to do your creative work, you got to go to work. Which is it? And I know I'm spread thin in my projects, so he spoke there to me too. He tweaked me there. Good words, good words. So, say no to shame. That was his heading, page 35 here. And don't we battle with that? Doesn't shame try to hit us when we feel like we've not met our own standards? Yeah. So, he really provides a lot of tools. If you can't stop, simplify. That's good advice. Instead of saying I got to create home cooked meals every night and it's got to be such a way, simplify. Prepare on the weekend and then just, let your kids have fun playing more. Play with them more. Maybe go out to eat once a week. He writes all about that. I love his action steps. Make a list of 3 things you could bomb during your goal. Use the red light, green light approach. For time drains you can't bomb, figure out a way you could simplify them. So again, take it in. What's another option? There's more way to look at something. And then he writes, write down in a secret place no one will see 3 relationships you might need to pause in order to finish your goal. Wow, that's pretty heavy. And chapter 4, make it fun if you want it done. We all are kids. We all like rewards. We're not going to do something if it's not fun at all. So fun comes in 2 different flavors he talks about. Choose wisely. There's either reward motivation or fear motivation. We're all wired for fun, and rewards work. So he gives some talks about that. And, okay, the truth about fun. Simon Sinek said, working hard for something we don't care about is called stress. Working hard for something we loved is called passion. And, okay, so cut your goal in half. Choose what is most important, what you'll bomb, he says, and make it fun if you want it done. Oh, he's rhyming. That's fun in itself, I think. Leave your hiding places and ignore noble obstacles. Well, that makes me curious. I'm not going to give this all away, but this is a book I would definitely get. It's not a big book, and it's definitely, he talks about everything that gets in the way of having a goal accomplished or just feeling positive about your own life. And I underlined this on page 147. Seeing your finished book on a real shelf in a real bookstore feels unrealistic. The distance is simply too much. But look at 0. Look at the starting line. Look at the bottom of the hill. Do you see how far you've come? Do you see how much progress you made? Do you see what you've already done already? You will, but only if you measure it. So my book's not finished yet. It's not published, not sitting in a bookstore, but that's okay. He's right about that. How many times do we actually take time to look at where we've come from? Where was the starting line? Because each of us, I'm sure we could see the growth and development and all the little touches and hours put in towards something. Nothing's wasted ever. So get encouraged. This was a really good read, and I was encouraged to keep working on my work. I'm not going to give up, and you shouldn't either. So whatever your dream is, if it's a writing dream like mine or weight loss like mine or something else entirely, don't give up. Keep going. Do what you can. Do your best and allow God to do the rest, and pray about it. Pray is your first thing to do, because praying is going to lead the action. Some days we're not meant to work on the work, guys. Some days we're meant to sit and rest. And that's maybe what we'll hear hear a word for the next step. So I am so blessed to be able to share this information with you today. And I'm so thankful for all that God is and what He's done in my life. And I'm thankful for what He's doing in your life as well. I hope you have a beautiful day. Remember, be happy. And it's not about our circumstances. It's about our inner heart and inner joy. And may God bless y'all. Take care.